Roll call, Dan Barrero.
Annette Johnson.
Jennifer Norrell.
Steve Magazzini. David Ballard.
Okay, next, public comments. Okay, no one signed up for public comments, so we're moving along to the number 3, informational items. So we have the monthly financial reports. Any questions or discussions on those?
No, fine. They
Okay.
look in order.
So next, under 3B, donations. We have quite a few donations. 3 xylophones from Miss Kathy Morgan to Allen School. Various team building games from Carter Fichtel of the 3 Fires Council Troop 48. Miscellaneous school supplies from Marmion Academy and Rosary High School. And 1 scooter from Maricela Garcia. And a scooter, skateboard, and basketball hoop from Annette McMahon. And 2 bikes from the Keystone Lodge. Any questions?
No.
Okay, so we always like donations. So thank you to all the donors. And 3C, this one is a third-party administrator contract for workman's compensation through CCMSI. Dr. Engel?
So their current contract is set to expire here, actually. And the last time we entered, it was a 3-year contract going forward. And this is a 3-year contract again going forward with CCMSI. Right now, the fees went from $27,000 to $30,000, so about a $3,000 increase for the next 3 years. I also ran this by Hub. I talked to Stephen Morkos for pricing and kind of just to see what the market kind of has dictated the last few times that he's been out. And this is well within the market rates for third-party administrators for CCMSI.
Pretty happy with them?
Yeah. Oh, actually, I was on the phone with them today, actually. Very responsive. Their billing comes in very regularly, so that helps out. And I've got generally really positive things to say about them.
Yeah, great. I don't have any questions.
Okay.
No.
No, neither do I.
Okay. So move that forward. Thank you. And next, the PE uniform bid. So this went out, talked about the last meeting, and now it's
Yeah.
back.
So we got back some PE uniform bids from 4 different companies this year. As you guys could probably see within the bid specs, there's a lot more t-shirts than there are shorts quoted for the 24-25 school year. The bids came back anywhere from $16,425 to $29,771.20. BSN was the lowest responsive bidder at $16,425, and the bid results are included for your review and consideration. And this would be a 3-year contract for the 25 through 27 school year with an annual escalator of the CPI in there that's built in. And this would be going for the July 15th approval.
And let me just add to be transparent, because we talked about this before, but I want this in the record so that the Board of Education is reminded. For secondary schools, we are not doing the mandatory changing anymore for PE. This is just for additionals because some kids do ask to put those on. And so we polled the PE teachers at the middle schools and the high school. And so this would be sufficient for what they're asking for, but I don't want us to cross this bridge later and you say, hey, didn't we just buy all those PE uniforms? It's really for extras, or sometimes kids may have something inappropriate at school. They have to change. They offer them a PE uniform. So these are just so that each of our secondary schools, there's 6 of them, that they have this in rotation or they have this as an option. But it's not covering every single student at secondary level. So I wanted to put that down officially so you knew that.
Okay.
Okay.
That's going to meet our needs, though.
It'll meet the needs that the teachers are asking.
Right.
Yep.
Okay.
Mhm. Yep.
Okay, I'm good with it. Annette?
Yep, I'm fine with it.
And 3E, budget timeline.
So yeah, I'm going to have Mr. Allen pull this up. So it's an updated 24-25 budget timeline, refunding, and lease certificate timeline. So everything kind of all in one timeline together. I have it started for the 6-3 board meeting, which already took place. That was the FY25 tentative budget presentation. And on 6/17, the resolution to adopt the FY25 tentative budget. And then in July, we're going to continue to update and refine the FY25 budget. A lot of federal grants will be finalized by then. On 8/5, that's going to be August, the first board meeting there in August. We're going to have the parameter lease certificate resolutions out there for the funding of the Tomcat Center and parameters for the refunding resolution for the Phase 4 refunding.
You're on the new document now. not the
Correct.
one in their
Yep.
packet.
That's the one up
Just
there.
I added him, ask him to add into this.
Oh,
So
okay.
that you would know how that factored into your budget decisions. So this is kind of new. We just added that up today,
Mhm.
which we put it all on one, and we can send this to board members. So you can see the budget timeline
Mhm.
along with the
No.
bond refunding and lease certificates. Yeah.
No, it's a good change. I just trying to follow along.
Sorry, I know, I noticed that in mine too, and I just wanted him to know. Okay.
Yep. Thank you. Let's see. Was that the 8/19? We'll have additional updates. We'll have the evidence-based funding amounts in there, and then the budget will be on public display there for the 30 days. In September will be the sale of the $14.5 million in lease certificates and $8.3 million in general obligation refunding bonds. And then in September, on the 23rd, the Board of Education will have a public hearing for the budget, and then approval on the 23rd as well. And then in October will be the close of the lease certificates and refunding bond issuances, and then we'll invest the proceeds. So that's pretty much everything that's happening the next 4 months, 3 months.
And then, Mr. Barrero, I know we talked about it. So once we have our finals on the grants, what we could do even before we move on to the September actions is before we put it on display for the August meeting, like that would be August 5th, we could bring back to Finance Committee any updates to the budget, knowing that 2 weeks later it would go on public display. But I think that would be a good time that you would ask about updates, financial updates. There's really none yet, but as we finalize our grants and those things for FY25, I think if you'd like, we could bring back on August 5th to this committee for you guys an update to the actual budget, if that is okay.
More information, the better.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Can't have too much information.
Right.
Yeah.
No, that's good. Okay, so on the 5th, if you could just prepare any updates in the funding or the plan for the budget for next year for this committee, and then we'll be set to put it on display.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Okay, so that takes us to the IASB press board policies. Yeah, you got a quick
Yes.
summary for us?
I have a very brief summary for you.
Okay, go ahead.
There are 17 press policies that we have listed today. And all of those press policies are under a 5-year review cycle. So what you see before you today is a first read. The majority of them are really there for review and monitoring with either none or minimal language changes for your review.
Okay.
I didn't
Looks
see
like a
much-
bunch of housework.
Yes.
I didn't see much in there for changes.
Yeah, very minimal language changes.
Okay, so that'll be moving forward.
Next time.
Yep.
Next time.
Yeah, right, but I mean, it's gonna go.
Yes,
Yeah.
correct.
Okay. So then we have the student services, 3 additional positions, TAs at Gates.
Yes.
Is that you, Dr. Bell?
It is Dr. Ballard, but I told him I wouldn't let him go it alone. I actually placed this request on here after talking to their incoming administration.
Mhm.
And so you want to describe, and then I will be here to take all the brunt of any questions. Okay.
Absolutely. So as you could see in the memo, just a brief summary. The district continues to see a rise in the number of students requiring additional academic, social, emotional, and medical support as indicated in their IEP plans. We've recently had an additional increase in students qualifying for special education services, specifically in our SLC classrooms. At Gates Elementary School, we are projected to have 61 students assigned to our SLC classrooms. We're going to add a new section there, bringing the total to 8 SLC classrooms. Each of those classrooms staffed with 1 teacher and 2 teaching assistants. To ensure that our students with special needs, have the necessary support to reach their full potential, we are asking for 3 floating FTEs due to the fact that students in this program often require additional supervision during transition times, in the general education inclusion periods. In addition, many of these students, due to their disabilities, often elope or run from the classroom environment or try to elope from the building. So additional support is needed to ensure their safety during daily activities and just due to the higher level of student needs within this particular program. So these additional staff would help us to manage the safety, the security, and the overall well-being of our students in this program and the students at Gates Elementary as a whole.
So the other teachers are not floaters, and these are floaters. And how do they?
Correct. So the other teachers are assigned to the classroom. So if a student does elope from the classroom, it would often pull resources from one classroom to go and chase, follow that student. And depending on perhaps how dysregulated that student may be, that could be anywhere from a few minutes to sometimes hours in terms of taking resources out of that classroom. So to have a floater who could be on hand to assist would allow those people to stay within the classroom, attending to the learning that's needed in the classroom, while we also deal with any student who may be dysregulated and need to be redirected to a calming space and to get them, as quickly back in the classroom as possible.
I think this will help with the climate and the culture in that building, because we did lose a lot of people. I think we lost 2 or 3 staff members that were actually teachers. So we got a lot of new teachers, and
Right.
yeah. So
And the SLC students are our most needy students, aside from our students at Krug, who are our life skills babies. And so a lot of the SLC students, and Megan's here, I can, if I'm wrong, some of them, their IEPs may stipulate that you're one-to-one. So if there's a one-to-one and then the other TA for the other 7 students in the room and the teacher has to leave, then those other students don't have any support while they're out with that one that had more severe needs. And so when we talked to their incoming administration, who were both teachers there last year, they said a lot of time was spent with those classrooms not having anybody, and they were trying to get walkie-talkies and trying to chase and deal with those behaviors. And previously, remember, the SLC program had, it was like K1 was in one building, and then 2-3 was in another building, and 4-5 was in another building. And part of listening to our parents was, my child who already has more severe needs has to get used to a new building every couple of years. So pulling them together was best for kids and families, but it was a lot on those buildings and our building. So we wanted to help Gates because we didn't really know until last year what the full impact of that would feel like. So we gave them the floater AP that's going to help them, and Cowherd, which has our middle school total program. And then now they had said to have a K1 floater TA, a 2-3 floater TA, and a 4-5 floater TA would give them at least one to manage 2 classrooms. So they actually would be covering 2 different rooms. And so whenever the breakdown came, or the eloper, as we call them in elementary school, we call them runners in high school, but if they are middle school, but if they're an eloper, they could go after that kid and not impact what's happening in those classrooms. So that's a little bit about the full scope of that program. So we feel like this might keep those teachers more supported. Yeah. Did I say everything okay, Megan? I can't see your face. Okay.
yeah, no, I think that'll help. That'll show the building we're supporting them. Plus
Yeah.
the teachers are newer, so it'll
They'll have new
give them some
teachers.
supports. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
And I trust this will be added to our budget.
Yes. Yes.
Keep adding those, changing those numbers. So is that it?
That is it.
Yeah.
Nice and easy.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So we're going to be adjourning at 5:48. So if there's nothing else, we'll call for adjournment.